Hello, hello. Welcome in. Hi everyone, it's Anai with Pearl Perspectives, and I've got a bit of a more quiet live stream for you today. My face is gonna be out of the way for this, and as you can see, I've got a huge mess going on here, and we're gonna try to make some socks. Now, I'm not very good with this machine yet, but I do still want to try to practice on it. This is Frankenstein. It is a heavily modified second or third hand circular sock making machine. And I got it off of a nice man in Facebook Marketplace. My friend Pete took me to pick it up about an hour and a half, no, about 3 hours away. It was like a all-day drive there and back. And here she is. I named it Frankenstein because in trying to find some parts to, I guess, replace the ones that were damaged, I found out that even though this has a body of a brand called Auto Knitter, it has some parts that are not the Auto Knitter because they are distinctly different from the manual of an Auto Knitter. So I checked in with a machinist man called Dave Lord from Chambord Machines. They live in Quebec, and they were able to identify from the pictures that this machine has been heavily modified and does not have the same parts as an Auto Knitter usually does. So if you feel like watching some slow content of me making this noise repeatedly, welcome in. Hi. You've seen those in a Fiberfest video. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people that have gotten one of these before. I'm quite new to it, so we're gonna try to make some socks. I've made a couple samples before, and I've successfully made one pair of socks before. I've also made this little pouch. Very sweet. And this machine has 52 needles around. Well, they're not really needles, they're more like a latch hook. They're a bit of they have this little like latch that opens up and closes. So that is what is making the stitches look like knits on the outside of the cylinder and like pearls on the inside of the cylinder. And I'm very excited to continue to learn how to use this, so let's give it another go. Alright, for this project I've got my cast-on bonnet that I made before, and this is essentially a tube of the same circumference as my machine, and it has some loops at the top that I'm going to use as my cast-on edge so that we can make a temporary cast on that we're later going to take off. The machine does not have a way for me to cast on it other than using a crochet hook, so I need something to get it started so that it can pull with tension on the inside, and I can use my weight to keep it down, and it'll pull the work down as I crank it. Alright, I'm also going to be using some yarn that I got from my friend Natasha's new online yarn store. It's called Pearl House. Here it is. She sent me a nice bag with my order. Pearlhouse.ca is where I got it, and I got 3 balls of Osterman Scholler Step 4 sock yarn, and it's the kind that makes like sort of a color work pattern when you work it in a tube. So I'm excited to see how that, oh, that's not focusing. I'm excited to see how that works up. Quite nice, I would say. It feels really nice. It is about, oh no, it's exactly 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon polyamide. And yeah, so I've got two colorways. I think I want to go for the blue one right here and see how it goes. Now, I learned about this machine. It came with this like bobbin, like a cone winder, and I'm supposed to wind skeins onto this cone so that the yarn can be fed up to this part up here, up this bar, and fall into my machine like easily. But this already comes in kind of like a, well, it's not a cone, but it comes in a ball that I think is going to be fine if I work directly from it. So I'm hoping that it'll be fine if I just like put the ball down here in the bag and just go with that and pull it from the bottom rather than having to, rather than having to wind it on to the cone, because winding it onto the cone isn't, you know, it's a whole thing on its own. So I'm hoping that I can make it work with just this. Oh, I got yarn barf. Great. I'm hoping that I can make it work with just the skein on the ball as it is. I did get another color, this like butter yellow, and I'm hoping to use this for cuffs and toes to get a little bit of a contrast, so that the pattern of the self-striping yarn is not interrupted. Now I got yarn barf, so I have to take a moment to rewind this into a butterfly so that it's not tangling up in the bag as I'm trying to pull it up. This is definitely not necessary if I was a more careful person, but I'm not. So here we go, butterflying. Here we go. Hopefully the outside of my window is not too loud. I do need to have it open because it's very hot today. Not very hot, but it's hotter than it has been, and I don't want to turn on the, I have a portable AC, but I don't want to turn it on because it's so loud and just takes so much energy, you know, like electricity. So I want to hold out. If I can have the window open, I'm gonna do that instead. Okay, I've gotten a hold of the yarn barf of the main color. Now let's see if I can do the same for my contrast color. All right, Osterman, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. How do you take the inside of the ball out? I find it like really difficult to find the end. Like, oh, this is looking quite suggestive, unfortunately. But like, how are we supposed to take the inside of this out? Oh my god, that worked. Okay, I'm not going to jinx my luck. I'm just gonna leave it be for now. Okay, so I have my contrast yarn for the cuffs and for the toes. I have some additional waist yarn for just casting on, which I'm going to use on the comb. And I have my Frankenstein machine. So let's go. Let's try to cast on. All right. Okay. If you've never seen a machine like this one, you're probably really confused about how it works. And I don't blame you. I was also really confused when I saw this. for the first time. I saw it at the someone was cranking socks on one of these at Twist Festival up in Saint-André-d'Avelin, around Montebello here in Quebec. And it was like it was like watching someone do magic. I did not know these machines existed. Like, I'd seen a Centro knitting machine that's also sort of a circular knitting machine, but I hadn't seen these like big cast iron predecessors, and they're so cool, and they make in my opinion, they make a really pleasing sound. So I'm hoping that you will find it pleasant. Oh no, my pig. I'm hoping that you'll find it pleasant as well. Okay, so I've put my bonnet on. Now I'm gonna put the weight on. When I bought this was supposed to have another like hook between here, but it didn't have it, so I put a hair tie in there, and so far it's holding on fine. And it took me a minute to figure out how this works, but essentially you put the fabric that you want to weigh this way, so you hook it kind of like this, and then when you let it go, this piece squeezes the fabric and it weighs it down so that it puts tension on the stitches. So let's do that. Okay, here we go, here we go, here it goes, here it goes, here it comes. Okay. Thread my waist yarn up in the mast, and it goes into this tiny hole in the machine. There are some people that like put a little weight in here to sort of weigh down the end. I don't care. If you care, please let me know. I'll do that for you, but I find that if I just hold it with my finger, it's fine. Okay, so I've gone a little bit, and now because these new pigs have been uncovered, I'm going to lift them up so that they can get casted on as well. And here we go. Yay! Ooh, that's satisfying. That's a little bit too open weave for my taste. Let's see if we can tighten this up. This little like screw over here is what tightens up the tension, which means it changes how far up these pigs go. So I'm gonna try to go down 2 measurements, 2 bars. And this is such an old machine on the side. It does like you can't even see the lines anymore. But I believe it's still working as intended, because I've used this before and it like the tension did change. So let's see. Like right now we have about like a couple millimeters in between each stitch. Let's see if that changed up now that I've increased the tension to about 2 points. Oh yeah, see that? You probably can't see that. Is that better? Okay, I think that's better. Okay. Not now, Vanessa. I'm streaming. Okay, so I can see that my tension is pretty satisfactory at the moment. I'm gonna go a couple more centimeters. Oh, I'm out. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here then. I have a mark right on the side at, if you imagine this is a clock, this would be my 3 o'clock mark. So I'm gonna stop right there. Okay, as soon as this closes, I'm stopping. I'm gonna put the rest of this in the basket. And now I'm gonna work on a cuff. So not with my main yarn, but with my contrast color. Let's thread it up. And into the machine it goes. Get in there. Okay, you don't want to get in there. That's right. Better. All right. I'm gonna go up here. Now I'm just gonna do one round just to tack it down. And then when I get to the edge right here, I'm going to increase the tension by putting my heel spring on. Because I want this to be extra tight, because this is the cuff that's gonna go around my calves. So I want it to be a little extra tight. The rest of it, I have to remember when I change colors to also remove the heel spring, just up here. This is the heel spring. This little guy is a little coil wire. So I thread my yarn through it, and then it tensions this yarn a little bit better. It makes for a tighter stitch. So I'm going to do 30 rounds because I want a cuff. It's about 15 rows. Like, this is a sample that I made before. So this is about how big of a tube I'm gonna get from this size cylinder. And I think I want my cuff to be like a double folded cuff about this long. So 5, 8, 11, about 15. About 15. You know what? Let's do 40. Let's do a thicker cuff. So I'll have 2 layers, 20 stitches on one side, 20 stitches on the other side. If that doesn't make sense, hold on. It's gonna make sense in a second. Okay, let's work a cuff. Up. It's not tight enough. Okay, I think I need another weight. My stitches are a little bit too tight. So they're not dropping all the way down to the base. I've added another weight. I have another weight. I don't know how heavy it is. I'm gonna add this to the same weight holder that I have at the bottom. And hopefully that helps bring these stitches down. Oh yeah, I think that's going on. Oh, what the heck? Jeez. Oh, jeez, Rick. There we go. Let's go. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh wait, I forgot to count. Damn it. Okay, let's count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'm counting the bars in between the stitches. 11. So that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Why are you tight? I can kind of feel it when it starts to get like stuck in the ball down there. I can feel the yarn like giving more resistance. So let's just stop and figure out that. 16 we said? 17, 18, 19. See? Freaking ball. 20, 21. Yarn barf. 22, 23. 24. Get rid of the yarn barf. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Okay. That's gonna be 40 as soon as I finish it. And then I want to do something called hanging the hem, which is I'm gonna take the inside, fold it up. Sorry, I should have put this on silence. Fold it up so that it makes a folded cuff like this. See how this is sort of like a double-sided cuff? So that is worked by pulling up the first yellow stitched row that I did here, hanging it back up on here so that it's 2 stitches per needle. I'm going to do one more crank round, and that's going to connect both layers together. And then I'm going to release the heel spring and change to my main yarn color, which is probably going to look really cute. I'm gonna get rid of the first yellow because I don't want yellow on yellow. We can use this for scrap or for grafting afterwards. Do you make butterflies when you have scrap yarn? Because the butterfly, I find, is a really easy way to keep your yarn from getting super tangled. It unravels pretty easily. It's easy to make, and then it's also pretty easy to store. So I make butterfly bobbins whenever I have a little piece. I toss it over there and it's fine. Okay. Righty. Let's hang that hem. Okay, I'm gonna remove the weights. Remove this weight. Remove. No, that's it. I'm done removing. Okay. I'm gonna flip this inside out. Okay, so here's my first stitch. So my first yellow stitch is this one right here. And I know that because here's my yellow tail coming out of there. And immediately after that, that's the first stitch. So I'm going to... Do you have to go on an even pace or a slower pace to make sure it doesn't drop a stitch? You have to go pretty consistent. But because I have the heel spring on right now, if I stop, it pulls the yarn up and keeps the tension, so I don't have to worry as much as when I'm not using the heel spring. That's a good question. You actually can see like some spots where I stop to fix the yarn. It's not super consistent and kind of rowing out a bit. See? I don't know if you can see that. But I find that I have to go at a pretty even pace. Which then it gets really fun because you get to like get into a rhythm. That's kind of what I like, is getting into the rhythm. Then I forget what I'm doing and then I go a little further than I wanted to go. It's a whole other problem. Okay, so let's pick up these edge stitches. Not the red ones, but the yellow ones. The red one is my waist thread. So let's not pick that up. And again, I'm gonna line up my first stitch to my 3 o'clock mark, which is the first stitch that I made. And hopefully that'll work out. All right. This often goes faster when I'm not talking. But I'm making an effort here to keep you entertained. Okay. I do advanced my carrier a little bit because these needles over here are not showing, so I'm gonna hold it down with my hand and advance all the way here. Okay, there we go. Gosh, they're so small. Come out of there. I'm getting some alarming texts from my neighbor. One of them just says, fuck. I don't want to read it right now. Should I read it? I'm not gonna read it. I'm having more fun making my sock. Making my sock downtown, walking fast, faces passing and homebound. My dog is snoring over there. He's very uninterested in my sock making. It's a very humbling experience. Okay, I've gone kind of as far as I can picking up these stitches before I have to move the carrier again. So in order for these stitches to advance and not drop off, I have to pull my work down with my hand and advance the carrier. Whee! There we go. Okay, so now I have more room and I can finish picking up this edge. right. Okay. So, picked up. Let's advance up to here. I'm gonna put my weight back on so that it continues to tug down. And that is our cuff. And it looks red, but this is the waist yarn. The folded cuff ended up on the inner side, trapped underneath. Once we get a little bit more advanced, I will show you how that looks off the machine. Okay. And now it's time for me to attach my main yarn. So to do that, I think what I want to do is weave in 2 threads at once. So I'm going to snap this thread like this. I'm going to thread my new yarn through the machine. And I'm not going to put the heel spring on because I want a little bit of a looser tension on the leg of my foot. And then I'm going to attempt to thread this in the machine at the same time as the yellow one, which is hard to do, but we're going to try. And this is just because I'm lazy and I don't want to thread the machine. Sorry, I don't want to weave in my ends afterwards. So now I've got 2 of these going together, and I'm going to hold them together and advance until I get to my 3 o'clock mark. Right there. Okay. Actually, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going for about half the circumference. Yeah, that's good enough. So now this yellow tail can just rest. She's done her job. Why is there a child screaming outside? Ugh. All right. So we have our new color attached. We have our cuff done, and now it's time to gently work on the leg. And I want to work a leg that is about 15 centimeters. But because this is under tension, I think I'm going to go all the way to 20. So I'm going to measure like this. And when the work hits 20 on the side, then I'm going to stop. Okay, let's go. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Yarn out of control. There we go. Right. Oh, sorry, you're tangling up with the yellow. Get out of here, yellow. You've played enough. Oh, I love this like white and orange. That's looking really good. Okay, let's see. What is this? There we go. sock is now, oops. Let me see, did that get where I wanted it to go? Yeah, okay. So the sock is now peeking down out of the machine, and here's our folded cuff at the bottom. Let me get you a little bit further down. Here's the folded cuff at the bottom. That's what my sock is looking like right now. It's still attached to the waste yarn, but that's okay. We're gonna remove that carefully when we're done. So now I want to measure that from this live edge to the edge of the cuff. I've got 15 centimeters. So let's see. So to the cuff is a little bit more than 20. To here, I've got 18 centimeters. So, if my calculations are correct, we need 3 more rows. Okay? 3 more rows. 3 more rows. Let's go. A 1, a 2, and a 3. Now I'm going to stop right there. Now, let's make a heel. I'm going to make the heel on the outside so you can see. Like usually I do it over here, but it's going to be okay. We'll do it on the outside. Alright, I want to make a heel in the contrast color, so I have to change colors again. So I'm just readjusting my weight here, so it's pulling really nicely on this top. I'm not gonna cut this yarn, I think. No, I am gonna cut it. I am gonna cut this yarn. When I get to the red mark, I'm gonna thread my yellow, go 1/2 of the row with the yellow and the main color together, and then I'm gonna let go of the blue. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so let's make it to the red mark. There we go. The needle on the red mark just closed, which means it's now time to lift the like 1/2 of the stitches out of work. So if I lift these latch hooks up, the machine won't go any further, like it won't knit the stitches where the needles are up. So, oh, that's as far as I can go before. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this blue. And add my yellow back in here. Okay, here we go. Do your thing. Off we go with the yellow. Alright. And I need my heel spring because I'm gonna want to do short rows. So the heel spring will keep the yarn tensioned so my stitches don't drop when I change directions. That's right, we're changing directions. We're gonna crank the other way. So, alright, so let's go until this other mark, and then we'll lift the rest of the stitches off work. I'm going really slowly now. There we go. Okay. So see these other needles where the yarn is in front of them? They didn't knit. And that's what I want. I want to do short rows up here and then pick up those short rows until I get to have like a wedge. I'm gonna get a wedge heel, and I'll do the same for the toe actually. Alright, so I need to lift the other ones out of work. So I'm using my red mark once again. Boop, 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 boop. These are sharp. I shouldn't have done that with my finger. I should have used the pick, but I didn't. Alright. Okay, so now I want to start my short rows. How am I going to start my short rows? Let me just remember what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to lift this guy. Yeah, I'm supposed to lift the last needle that I worked. So this one. I lift the last stitch that knit. And then I go the other way. Actually, I don't need the blue anymore. The blue can go in the tube. Get out of there. Bye, good night. Okay. Oh, stressful. This is usually where I mess up. Here we go. We can do it. We can do it. Ain't no thing. Hold well down. Hell yeah. Okay. That's the beginning of my toe. No, the beginning of my heel. Again, this is the needle that I last knit, so I lift it out of work so it doesn't knit again. Alright, and off we go. I pull down. And I lift. Pull down. I lift. And as of now, the tension from the weight is no longer going to be even because obviously there's more length on this side than on this side. So it's only pulling a little bit. So what I have to do is add additional weight. And for that, I have this fork tool. That again, it's supposed to be attached to the weight somehow. I don't know how, so I put a hair elastic on it. This is very ratchet. Do not take my advice if you have one of these machines. Maybe look at someone. This is not a tutorial, is what I'm saying. Probably don't do this because it's not good. But it's what I had. Okay, so I'm gonna insert these guys up here. Actually, maybe a little bit more open. Yeah, like that. So that this is adding additional tension down here. And I can continue my short rows. Knit and lift. Knit and lift. And knit and lift. And knit and lift. Knitting and lifting and knitting and lifting. And I feel like now I have to move them further up. They're not really pulling as much. Go on. Knit and lift and knit and lift. Okay, I'm stressed. Lift, lift, and lift. Oh, okay. We're getting into dangerous territory. Danger, danger. lifted. Yes, I did. Let's continue. I'm gonna stop when I have, I want to say 7. How much is this? Yeah, when I have 7 in the middle, so maybe 3 more rows on each side. Okay, so this is the last thing that I knit. I lift it. The last one that I knit, I lift it. Last one, I lift it. And I lift on the other side. Lift on the other side. And this is the last one that I'm gonna lift. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 remaining stitches. So I can start, okay, just so that you'll see. See that like half moon shape? That's my short rows. So now what I have to do is start lowering the stitches one by one so that I can pick up my short rows one at a time, and then eventually I'm gonna have sort of like a pita pocket shape. Like a half a pita pocket. If you were to get donair, that's the shape that we're going for here for my heel. I think that's deep enough for my heel. Is about 2 inches. So I just lifted this side. This is the last one, and I am going to now, at the same time as I lifted this one, lower one more. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So I'm gonna put my forks back in. Oh. There we go. Forks back in. Lowering one on the left side. And I knit. And I lower. I knit. And there's going to be a little hole here. That's okay. It's not going to be noticeable. And I lower on the other side. And I lower on the other side. And I reverse. And I lower on the other side. And I reverse. I lower. And I reverse. Hey! We're getting there, guys. It's happening. Alright. Lower on the other side. Here we go. And lower it on the other side. There we go. Lower it on the opposite side where I just ended. And lower the opposite side. And lower. And knit. And lower. Knit. And lower. And knit. Now I'm going really slowly because if I accidentally drop one of these stitches, which means if the tension in one of these stitches is too loose, when the needle drops down, the stitch kind of stays up and it falls back into it and it unravels all the way down. It ladders down, and that's happened more times than I'm happy to count. So I'm going extra slowly to make sure that I'm holding these purl bumps on the inside of my stitches as I go, so that I'm not accidentally dropping them. So let's tug down, go slowly. Alright, tug down, go slowly. tug down. Okay, slowly. And tug down. And go slowly. This is probably the last row. So I'm gonna add, no, it's not the last row, is it? I'm gonna add my main color back on now. So I'm gonna drop the yellow out of here. And I'm gonna add my blue back on, because after I've done this heel, I want to continue with the foot, which is just in my main color. So let's go. Off we go. I'm gonna try to... Okay. Okay, let's hold it and go back. Lower one more. I think I was off by one because this doesn't add up exactly, but that's okay. Okay. And I'll weave in the blue. There it is. Oh, get out of there. Oh, come on. Come on, let me see your face. All right. Okay. We've got a little tail there. And I'm gonna hold it up because my heel spring is no longer attached. So I'm gonna generate some tension with my fingers and make it all the way to the end. Okay. I'll lower my last one, and I'm actually going to lower as many as I can because, nope. No, I shouldn't be doing that because then I'd be going the opposite way. Well, we're doing a deep heel. That's fine. We're doing a deep heel. I'm just gonna lower the one that's next. That's fine. All right. Let's go, friends. We can do it. All right. Now I can go and lower the other side because I want to continue going in the same direction as I was going for the leg and the cuff. Okay, so now I'm dropping my yellow because I'm done with it. And when I go around, I want to wrap the immediate next stitch over so that it doesn't leave a big hole like this side did, unfortunately, but that's fine. And then I'm going to release my heel spring. I don't want the heel spring anymore. And I'm going to reverse. There we go. So now we're back in the round again. I'm going to make sure to lower all of these needles. And make sure that the latches are open. This one's not open. Okay, the latches are open now. And we can keep on cranking for the foot. Whee! All right. Now, how long is that? I'm gonna measure from the edge of the heel right here, the very tip of the heel, to the edge. That is about 6 inches. My foot is 24 centimeters, if I remember correctly. I wear a size 5 shoe. I think I'm gonna go for 8 inches total, but one of those inches, or an inch and a half of those, is actually the toe. So we have to measure a little bit more carefully than that. So we're currently at 7. Inches plus 1.5 for the, yeah, that's about right. Let me just quickly measure my foot. Oh, I was wrong. My foot is 8.5 inches, so I'm going to do about another ½ inch, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more rows for a ½ inch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we stop here, because now we got to do the toe, which is going to be exactly the same as the heel, except we're not going to join it in the round anymore. Well, actually we will, because we're gonna put some waist yarn in there. Okay, let's do that by adding our yellow again. Got my main yarn, put it on the other side, add my yellow contrast. Thread it in. And add my heel spring. There you go. Let's go! Okay. We're at the red mark. We're gonna lift every other stitch on the back, just the same as before. I'm gonna drop that main color yarn into the tube. There we go. And I'm probably gonna use this to graft the toe afterwards. Make it all the way here to the other edge. Lift the remaining needles up to the red mark. And now we can start our short rows, and hopefully this will go faster. But I'm gonna put my fork in right now. Oh, they're the wrong way around. Oops. Okay. Lifted the last one I did. Let's go. 2. Oh boy. Okay. Let's keep going. These okay. 7. 3, 6, 7. Okay. Let's reverse now. We've got our little half moon short rows. Let's go the other way now. Lower one down. Go back. Nice. Lower one down. Go back. Yeah. Lower one down. Go back. Lower one down. Go back. Lower one down. Lower one down. Lower one down. Lower one down. Lower down. Lower down. Go back. 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 Lower down and go back. Lower down. Go back. Lower down. Is this the last one? No, it's not. Go back. This is the last one. Lower down. Go back. Lower down. When I go back on this one, I need to wrap because it's the last one. So I need to connect it to the main color. So I wrap. Go back. All right. And then I think that's it. Oh, guys, I messed up. Damn it. I wasn't supposed to go all the way there. I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to stop up here so that I could lower the bottom ones and keep going with the waste yarn so that I can use the waste yarn later. Okay, can we solve this problem? Yes, we can. So, as I don't want this one to have been knit, I'm going to find it and put it back on the needle. I'll do the same with the other one, put it back on the needle, and just keep going. I'm essentially unknitting at the moment. Grab the previous stitch, mount it back up, grab the previous stitch, mount it back up. See, I got excited and I went too far before I needed to make a change, so I can continue finishing myself. Up, 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 Alright, nobody panic. Take the weights off. Take the weights off. Right at the end, too. Guys, we dropped the stitches. I say we, but I mean me. I dropped the stitches. Okay. Taking the weights off. I gotta take a deep breath. Okay. Well, I'm done feeling sorry for myself. Now, let's work. All right. So. Okay. We've got to pick up whatever we can pick up. There's one. There's another one. There's another one. Oh. There's this one here. Okay. And is this a stitch? Yeah, it's a stitch. Okay. Jesus. Yep. That's what happened. Okay. Well, nope. There's another stitch right here. Yep. There's another one. Rogue little stitch. Get up there. Okay. All right. Lift some of these so that they're not getting in the way. And then I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around without knitting. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now we can fix it. So let's tug down. Let's see. This guy needs to be in the front of this guy. No. Where? You need to go over here. Okay. Like that. And then this guy needs two stitches. I'm gonna put these two up here. I'm gonna pull it down and lift one up. Oh boy, I don't know if this is right, by the way. I'm just going with the vibes. Ugh. Lord, give me the strength. Okay. I think that doesn't look terrible. This one definitely needs to go back up here. And it's right on the toe, so I will barely notice. So I think that is the best that I can hope for in this momento. Oh, nope. You gotta do this guy as well. Alright. One at a time. You guys. How am I gonna fix you? I will try to fix you. Oh boy. Oh jeez. Oh jeez, Rick. Oh, I have a latch hook. I could be using a latch hook for this, but I don't really know how. Oh boy. So what I'm doing is just mounting the strands up on the needle and then passing it up and over to like pseudo knit. And then I'm hoping that that is good enough. I won't say that it's correct because I know it's not correct. Like it definitely missed one here. Too late though. I'm just gonna leave it as a float. Yeah, I definitely missed something. Okay, well I'm gonna put this up with a twist. And then what were we doing? Yeah, we're gonna put the waste yarn. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Let's put those forks back in so we don't want no accidents. All right. And it's got the yellow. Go back to our waste yarn. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up to here with the yellow. And then I'm gonna do a few rows with the waste yarn. So let's go. Right there, that's the last one. So the yellow can go. And this guys, at the very end, the toe, I don't want to weave this new color in together because I'm actually not keeping this color. I'm gonna unravel it afterwards so I can graft the toe. So there's no point in me weaving it together because I don't actually want it to be secured in place. Okay, lowering all stitches back down. Stagger, stagger, stagger. Phew. All right. Actually, I'm gonna need more waste yarn than that. Just tidy it up. It doesn't matter. It's just to allow me to take it off the machine with some length on it so it doesn't immediately unravel. So it doesn't really matter if it's not tidy. some ravel cord. No, I do not. What? No, I do not. Okay. Oh, yes, I do. Let's do a little ravel cord. Ravel cord is like a smooth cotton yarn that is easy to pull out of the machine, and I use it so that I can separate two parts of my ongoing tube together. I can separate them so that they're not together anymore. So I'm gonna cut my thread right here, pull it to the inside. It doesn't matter where, again, it's just a temporary measure. And do a round of my ravel cord. Up. Exactly one round, so stop right there. And then I can keep going with a little bit more waste yarn. It's called waste yarn, but I don't actually waste it. I reuse it all the time. So this was waste yarn that I used before, and I wound it back up on the cone. And again, this is just for me to be able to take it off the machine without having to cast on again. I'm gonna go until it runs out. I lied. Ran out anyway. Well, we're taking it off. That's all right. Okay. Here we go. There's almost a sock. Alright, I'm going to put this on the inside so that we can see it a little bit better. Here's my sock. That's the leg. Beauty. And this is the toe. Well, it doesn't look like a toe yet, but let me show you what needs to happen. I'm going to remove this red yarn right here. And I'm going to use the tail of my yarn to graft the toe right here. See that? And that's going to make a full sock. How cool is that? All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna turn this around so you can see me. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Annie from Pearl Perspectives, and I'm hoping to bring you a little bit more of these like slow TV moments where I'm just working on something. Today it was cranking on my CSM, my circular sock machine. Next time I might be needle felting, maybe I'll be embroidering, and I'll just walk you through what I'm doing as I'm going along with it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next time, maybe? If you enjoyed this, give it a like. If you didn't enjoy it, give it a not like. Regardless, I'm thankful that you're here. Bye.